Hey guys, my name is Jake Cantrell. I'm Tyler Cantrell's dad, and I own a software company, or several, sort of, depending on how you want to look at things. But Miss Tweedy asked me to put together a quick video to show you guys and kind of let you know a little bit more about what we do with coding in daily life and how that works out in general, kind of where I got started, things like that. So I'll do my best to do something halfway decent and interesting for that. I started out programming when I was little. I mean, first grade ILO, back in the day at Ada with Miss McFarland, who is not teaching anymore. So we started back then on Apple IIe computers. This is before we had Macs, before most people had PCs, everything else. And honestly, it's just kind of something that always stuck with me as interesting and fun to do. And so I kept that up all the way through junior high and high school in different ways. Built my first commercial websites when I was in the 9th grade, I think, and started out with just building websites for different people and took on a school in Tennessee when I was real young. Did the Ada High website when I was at Ada High, and this is back in the late 90s. When I was at Ada High doing that website. And of course, now I actually do the school system site now too. And so we'll take a quick look at a little bit of that too when we go into seeing some of our work. But in general, you know, it's not something that's transformed my life so much as defining my life. What I do with coding and development, it gives a completely different outlook on everything that I do. You know, different things are possible when you know how things work behind the scenes in the background. You can come up with ideas and then you can make something out of those ideas, as opposed to just saying, oh, I've got a great idea, you know, and then having to go find somebody else to do that idea. You can take those great ideas, make mock-ups for them, do small side projects on them. You know, I've gone through hundreds of iterations of different projects and processes that never come to anything, but I'm laying in bed at night, I have an idea, I get up the next day and I build that idea, or at least parts of it, to see if that idea has any merit. And honestly, that's one of the most powerful things about learning how to program, working with any coding at all, and working with a lot of different technologies is exactly that. It's the ability to design and iterate for yourself before you have to go out and spend any money or get anyone else involved. That's really the greatest thing of it is, you know, you have an idea, let's go see if that idea works. So what we're going to do today is kind of take a look through a little bit about what Cantrell Jackson does, which is our software company, my primary software company, and just to take a look at what we do a little bit, where coding comes into there. We're going to play around with a little bit of code on some local stuff, and then just look at a few of those side projects that started out as ideas and what they were and how those came together, and hopefully will come together more in the future. And then we'll do a quick tour around the office here and talk to a couple of the other guys that work here and just ask them what they're working on today. And so with that, I'm going to jump in and turn on my screen sharing, and we'll take a look at kind of what it is that we do here. So the very first piece we're going to take a look at, and I'm much more comfortable talking without my face taking up the whole screen now, at least. And so these are the Cantrell Jackson products. You've got roustabout software, disposal software, and hauling software. What Cantrell Jackson does is build software to help manage the ticketing process in the oil field for oil field service companies. Along the lines of, if a plumber comes out to your house, does some work in the kitchen sink, they're going to leave you a ticket behind, and then they're going to mail you an invoice to pay for that ticket that they left behind. Our software handles that process for the oil field. Tickets get created, our software helps them create invoices out of those software, provides all sorts of data for the back-end reporting and everything else. We're going to just very quickly breeze through these because you guys don't really care that much about what our products actually do. So roustabout software is for a certain type of oil field company. What happens with this, and all of this is programming, right? Everything we're going to look at over the next few minutes, programming, starts out as lines of code. We're going to get in and look at a little bit of that code in a minute. So this process starts out with a paper ticket going through a scanner and comes into the software. Let's get out of that example. So here we go. So ticket comes into the software. You get to see what was on the paper ticket when it was printed, and then you can go through and enter all of the data off that ticket here. That's the basis for all three of our software platforms, is getting this information from that work ticket that was done in the field into a digital format. And from there, it goes through several different processes to make sure that the jobs are accurate, so we can see all the data here, make sure it's there. And then the next piece in the puzzle is invoicing, so you can get paid. All of our software ties in directly with QuickBooks. That's another great thing about knowing how to program and code. Nearly everything out there these days has an API you can integrate with. Let's take something you guys are slightly more familiar with than any of the other references I would make, Twitter. You know, I could tie into the Twitter APIs and automatically make a Twitter post every time somebody submitted a new ticket in this system. I would never want to do that, but I could if I wanted to. And again, that goes back to, if you have an idea for something, you can build it out, test it out, try it to see if that'll work before having to take it forward to the next step. And so again, nearly everything out there, any service that you would want to work with is going to have an API. And so knowing how to integrate just to pull down your personal information and use it for yourself is pretty handy and cool. So anyway, QuickBooks, we integrate with that through the QuickBooks APIs, so we can automatically build invoices in QuickBooks. And then you go down and you can get reporting based on the work that was done. And so we can pull up and see exactly how much money we made for each piece of equipment, all of that information just through our software. And so that's Roustabout software. Hauling software works nearly identically, just for a different part of the industry, for a different type of company. Again, you start out with a ticket, you enter the data for that ticket, it flows through the whole process, all the way down to reporting, and then you're able to expand and get all the information you would ever want just from having that data put in there. So that's a little bit about what Cantrell Jackson does in general. Specifically myself, I don't do a whole lot of coding at all anymore. I do it from time to time when somebody has something that they need my help with, or if it's just something that I can do quicker than asking somebody to do it, I'll do it. A lot of what I do day to day looks like this. This is a process and task management platform where I can come in and make notes on what needs to be done and then get feedback from our team and our people that are doing the programming, things like that. So I do a lot more oversight and overview of what's going on than not at this point. This is disposal software. The most recent bit of programming I did do was late last week, actually. I came in here and added some additional fields. Basically all of this information right here I added last week because again, I had an idea, wanted to see how it would work in here. It was just as quick to get in and do that myself. This is where we'll play around for just a second today. We can see right here where it says pressure 1 and pressure 2. We need a little bit more detail in that spot. And so we're going to go change this to from pressure 1 to injection pressure and from pressure 2 to annulus pressure. And so the way we're going to do that, we're going to pop into our coding platform here. And right here, I've already got this queued up, but here's all the other code that goes into creating that. Again, everything in the back end is just coding. And so all I'm going to do is change this pressure 1 to injection pressure. Pressure 2, we're going to just make that say annulus pressure. And we're going to save that. And I'm making this look a little easier than it is because we're just editing this on my local right now, hence the errors that are showing. So once I save that and refresh this, now instead of pressure 1 and 2, we have injection pressure and annulus pressure. Now, if I wanted to push this live out to the customers and everything else, it's quite a bit bigger process to do, and I would do a few things differently. But I did want to show how some pieces of this are extremely simple and easy to do. And so here's the code that shows the rest of that page. Again, everything in this is just code written in the background over the past several years, 6 years for Cantrell Jackson. So this one page is 1,524 lines of code just to create this one page right here that's part of this whole software. So pretty neat and fun. Skipping on to ideas. Expiration Ninja is one of those ideas and concepts that I had laying in bed one night, taking a shower or something. Idea just pops in my head. Hey, I bet we could build something that did this. I think this one might have come from an earlier question from a customer. Maybe it's like, yeah, we could build something like this. And so I took a few months and worked on this project with a development team that works for me on the side here, and built this out over a few months. Got an intern to come in and work for me from the college, which was a pretty cool experience. We've done a lot with ECU and interns to come in and just help oversee some projects, get them some great experience learning different things. And so with Expiration Ninja, we actually took this to the Pitch Ada event where you pitch business ideas. And we let Lindsay, the intern, prepare her presentation for that, go through a startup boot camp to learn a lot. And then she took this to the Pitch Ada event, and this idea won the entire event for People's Choice and the revenue producing side of the event. And so that was pretty exciting. It's great validation for the project, and we were excited to be able to take part in that and take it further. Other things, I mentioned earlier, the Ada City Schools website. I still manage this. Everything up here, we did a rebuild with all of the new COVID stuff. We did a lot of changes to it. And so I don't handle any day-to-day changes. Selena does all of that. But anytime something big needs to change, something goes wrong, they're going to call me and ask me to look into that. And that's what we do. And so that's a pretty good overview of what I do now, more or less. And I think we'll wrap up by just taking kind of a quick tour around the office. I wish we were able to do this live and take some questions, because I could probably get a lot more interesting stuff out to you guys for that. But wanted to really just give you kind of an overview of what it is that I do day to day, and kind of how my life runs at this point. So I will get up and pop onto a different camera and start out with just a quick tour around here in my office. You can see my stand-up desk back here. I think that's important to be able to get up and move around when you're working. It's extremely helpful for thinking through problems and ideas. And so we will pop over to a different camera and do a quick tour around the office. All right, so we're back, and I've switched to my phone now so I can walk around the office a little bit and just kind of show off our office and how we all work. This is my desk where I work. I've got my very ergonomically centric chair there, but multiple monitors, very important. You can see I'm already editing that last video while I was waiting on the other guys to get back from lunch there. Multiple monitors are super important for all things technology and programming, because you can have things up on one screen while you're working on the code on the other. My office is actually in a garage, which is pretty cool. We rebuilt this garage when we got this office. Here's my stand-up desk that I talked about in the other video a little bit. And again, just very important to be able to walk over here and just type as I need to type without having to go sit down and everything else. And so pretty cool stuff. I've got a conference table in my office. My TV stays tuned all the time to what's going on at Boca Chica with SpaceX. I love following all the rocket stuff and everything else. And so I've always got my monitor turned on to that from the first get here in the morning. My brother's football helmet, waiting for him to come back up. Mentioned the big pitch. Here's one of our plaques for that, for the People's Choice Award, which was pretty cool for Expiration Ninja. So yeah, so we'll just kind of walk through here and go say hi to the other guys and see what they're working on right now. As our kitchen with our lovely floors. This is Corey Drennan. Hi, Corey.
Hello.
Corey's head of implementation and support for us. You can see again, multiple monitors, everything else. Corey, what are you working on today?
Working on testing our development version of our Roustabout software app.
Very cool. Keep it up. Now we're going to walk into Brian Hughes' office. He's got a sword on the wall, and so we don't really say anything bad to Brian because of the sword. Hey, Brian.
Hey, man. Who are we talking to today?
This is Miss Tweedy's class, and we're talking about coding and how it interacts with our life and kind of what we do here.
Sweet. What age group is Miss Tweedy's class?
These are I'm going to say all freshmen because Tyler's a freshman.
Freshman to, all right, sweet. Well, hello way to junior high. Yeah, just in here doing a little programming and making sure our web interfaces match up with what we've got on all of our tablets and making sure they fit different screen sizes and yeah, just making it all work.
Very cool. And again, multiple monitors are key to being able to do this. You can see this here where Brian's got code up on this screen, and then he's got a testing view up over here, and then the actual web view up, along with the tablet showing all the same stuff. Again, important to be able to see everything you need, and then Skype for communication. Brian also has a stand-up desk over here in the corner with just a single monitor from his, but again, lets him get up and stretch when he needs to and walk around.
Can't have too many monitors for sure. Good luck.
All right, and so that's a quick tour of the office, a little bit about me and what we do here. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. This video came out quite a bit longer than what I intended to. So have a great day and enjoy school.